I like beer cause it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, cause the beer it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good! And stop! Beer is good! Beer is good! Beer is good!
Let's go drink some beer!
Yes, indeed, beer is good. Tonight we have another beer in our series of style guides. Last time we talked about stout, its fabled history, the ingredients, how it's made, and what defines its character, and what food goes well with it. In this episode, we're going to delve into one of the most popular beers of all time. What with spring now upon us, this show is all about Bock's. Yes, that lager beer of Germany, particularly Bavaria. Coming up in the next segment, I'm going to give you a taste of Bock beer. But first, we need to talk about the different substyles of Bock. Just like pale ales and stouts, Bocks have officially 4 different substyles represented by a spectrum of alcohol content, dryness, bitterness, and color. The 4 different Bocks all have their roots in the history of brewing and the conditions faced by the lager brewers of their time. On the low end of the alcohol and body spectrum, we have Maibock or Helles Bock, followed by traditional Bock, double Bock, and Eisbock. What differentiates these beers mostly is the amount of fermentables that go into them and the balance of the sugars in them to their respective bitterness. Tonight, I'm going to focus on standard and double Bocks, as they are the most widely available and identifiable substyle of the genre. This style evolved from attempts to make a strong lager that would survive through the warmer months of the year. This was primarily due to the Reinheitsgebot prohibition of brewing lager beers between March and September. When a brewery offered a Bock, the Bock was always the strongest beer. Modern versions are brewed from at least an original specific gravity of 1.064 or approximately 16% sugar solids by weight. Double Bocks must be no less than 1.072 original specific gravity in order to be considered double Bocks. Its appearance and color can be fairly pale in the case of Helles and Maibocks, to deep brown and garnet highlights in double Bocks and Eisbocks. It should be fairly clear due to the lengthy lagering times involved in the brewing of these beers. A thick, creamy, long-lasting, off-white, tannish brown colored head is characteristic of the style. Bocks have a prominent fruity malt aroma and may have a slight chocolate, cocoa, and/or grainy secondary note. Fruity esters from yeast character are usually not found. No buttery or diacetyl flavors should ever be present. The hop aroma should be low to none at all, as this beer is more about the malted barley character and the melanoidins, which give the style its signature flavor and aroma. When you taste a Bock, you'll notice moderately malty, grainy fruitiness, optionally with light to moderate hop flavor, and medium to low hop bitterness. This is a dry, toffee-like beer which finishes from the darker grains. Many have a bittersweet or sweetened chocolate character in the palate, lasting into the finish. Some balancing factors may include a creaminess in the mouthfeel, which should be medium light to medium full in body with low to moderate carbonation. There may be some light astringency from the melanoidins, although harshness is totally undesirable. And medium to low fruitiness with medium to no hop flavor. The low fruitiness, of course, coming from the grains. No diacetyl should ever be detected in this style. With a high malt character and significant proportion of malty grains present, this beer is remarkably dry. The perception of body can be affected by the overall gravity, with the smaller beers being lighter in body. All in all, Bocks are a very malty, bready, Swedish, creamy lager. Coming up, I'll show you how I brewed a double Bock, and then you too will be able to brew this classic style. Coming up next on BeerTV, Brewing with Style, I'm going to show you how I brewed a double Bock.
Hi there, guys. Guess what we're brewing today?
That's right, on BeerTV, Brewing with Style, we brew the beers we taste. We brew beer to show you how easy and fun it is to do at home. Today, I'm going to be doing an all-grain batch of double bock. That's right, double bock. Double bock started when the Franciscan brothers down in Germany decided they were going to make a beer in honor of Jesus. That was done during the Lenten season. They needed some beer to sustain themselves during that 2-week period in which they forbid any kind of food or drink except, of course, Salvatore. Salvatore was a double bock that originally started in Germany, but now any beer that ends in ATOR is, generally speaking, considered a double bock. But today, we're going to be making a very strong double bock. I got 19.5 pounds of Munich malt, 5.5 pounds of Pilsner malt, and 2 pounds, are you ready for this? 2 pounds, yes, of beautiful caram Munich malt. That's going to give it that nice, luscious flavor. And pretty soon here, I'm going to have Mr. Hands give me a hand, and we're going to load up some grain in this and get this thing started. So, Mr. Hands, if you'll please, as I start pouring grain in for me.
Doesn't matter which.
That one be first, you're fine. Since it's closest. And by cleaning as I go, I save a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy. Mr. Hands, would you please take this and put it over there by the propane tank? That'll take care of that for the time being. Pesky bowls. Okay. And now, look how many lid. Oh, I can get it. Lid's on. Now the next thing to do is to hoist this sucker up here, get the hot liquor tank started so we can start the sparge cycle. But before we sparge, we've got to boil up or recirculate all these wonderful things I've got going on the grain. I got this wort going. The mash is proceeding beautifully. All I got to do is let it sit for about 45 minutes. And after that, I'm going to boil off or recirculate it for about 15 minutes and get nice and clear. And once it's all nice and cleared up, then it's going to be ready to start the sparge cycle so I can run it off to my kettle and begin brewing. Be right back with you on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. Okay, I'm back after that most interesting, introspective break. Now, we're bottled out. We're recirculating, taking the wort from the bottom, putting it through my beautiful little giant cup here. It's going back up and into my sparge arm. My sparge arm is swirling like a dervish, and it's just going ecstatic. I got beautiful clear wort already. This has only been going on for a few seconds. The reason I didn't show you beautiful people in the first few seconds of it is it requires me to be messing around, turning handles, plugging things in, turning things off and on. And a lot of that's kind of boring. And it looks bad. This is good TV. It's BeerTV. And what is better than beer, especially on TV? What we got right here is this nice, lovely, kind of amber, copper, brown colored wort. And that's what this is going to be, a double bock. A strong beer, a beer with about 10% alcohol. That's what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to take 5 gallons, and hopefully not 10, but I'm praying that I only need 5 gallons to go into a bourbon barrel. That's right, bourbon barrel double bock. Imagine how that's going to taste. And you'll see that later on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. We'll be back in just a moment and show you how this bad boy is going to start sparging with hot water. I got here my hot liquor tank and going off into my kettle so I can get the boil going. Be right back with you and we'll start the boil. All right, the our loaf is done, we've recirculated, got beautiful clear wort. Now it's time to start the sparge. I got 190 degree sparge water here, which by the time it gets up through the pump and into the sparge arm, it's going to cool down to 170 degrees. So the water hitting the top is going to be about 170 degrees. It's going to warm up the mash, so that way I can do my mash out. But now when I open this valve up, you're going to see color change here. We go from sparge water into the wort. And you see the wort slowly turning up and it gets glued down with water. And you see that color change slowly but surely taking place. And it brightens up and turns clear. That's because I'm replacing that recirculated wort now with the hot sparge water. And now it's almost entirely clear, so it's almost entirely nothing but evaporated hot liquor. Now I've got my hot liquor tank going. I'm sparging. Time to open up the kettle at the bottom. I'm going to open it wide open at the beginning to get it to start to flow. Once it starts to flow, you want to cut it back to where it's just a trickle. You want to match input flow to your output flow. The two most important things to do when you're doing a sparge is to make sure that what goes out goes in at the same rate. You want to keep a couple inches on top of that grain bed at all times. That helps to establish the grain bed, that helps to set it, that helps to get a good filter going. I've got nice clear water coming out of the bottom of the kettle. I've got beautiful clear water going in. That clear water is going to rinse those grains and it's going to keep that temperature up, keep that pH down, and it's going to make sure that I get a perfect runoff, a beautiful beer, and as a consequence, a strong beer. We're making double box, because double box are extreme lagers. And that's what we do here on BeerTV, Brewing style. I'll be right back when we start our boil up and add our hops. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. I've emptied out my mash tun. I've got all my water into my kettle. The boil is just beginning, and if you look through all the steam, you can see I've got a wonderful break going on. I've got this beautiful mahogany reddish brown colored wort, and oh, you can smell those toasted grain smells. This is going to be an awesome beer. I'm making a double box. This is what Martin Luther drank for Lent. 2 weeks during the diet of worms. He wrote that great diet, and he sat down and drank nothing but double box. This is sustaining beer. This beer will sustain you for any period of time. Food without beer is never as good as beer without food. You can live on beer alone as long as it's good beer. At the point, it's got to be rich and flavorful, full of character. That's what makes great beer great. I'll be back with you in just a moment. We'll do our first hop and only hop addition from the Big Lid. I'm putting 6 ounces of awesome Bristol hops in this beer to give it a balancing bitterness in the finish. This is going to be a fairly malty beer, but it's still a double box. It still needs some hops to support that malt backbone. We'll be right back with you on BeerTV, Brewing with Style, brewing up a double box. Okay, folks, I'm back. I got an awesome boil going. I'm drinking some great home brew that one of my beautiful customers at FH Dive Barts on 234 Southeast 12th Avenue brought me. And all I can say is, cheers, brother. This is an awesome Imperial Stout. Tastes delish. Good job, man. I love Imperial Stouts. If I'm making big beers, I should make a big beer to go with it. Well, this big beer needs some big hops. I got 6 ounces of Bristol hops here. 4.6% alpha. This is the kind of hop I'm talking about. I'm only going to get about 30, maybe 35 IBUs out of all those hops. I do have 10 gallons here I'm working with. Oh my God, the aroma is to be believed. The smell of sweet malt and hops married together. It's heaven in a glass. It's in my kettle. It won't be in my glass till it's done fermenting and out of the barrel. It looks and smells awesome. Bristol hops, gotta love it. I know I do. Well, I'll be back with you here in about 90 minutes after the boil's done. We're going to chill this bad boy down and get it in the fermenter so the yeast can do their job. I'm using the 3470 dry yeast. That's right, the high and Stephanie lager yeast in a dry yeast form. Why? Because I like to experiment with different products. The new product just came out here a short time ago, and I thought, what better way to do it than get 4 packages of that beautiful yeast, put it into 10 gallons of my awesome wort, and make some really incredible double bock. And that high and Stephanie yeast is the key to it. It makes for a good, malty, chewy beer, and that's what this beer is all about, malty and chewy. I'll be right back with more on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. Brew up a double bock. All right. Brew is done. I got everything finished. I got my 10.5 gallons of hot wort. It's going down here through my counterflow chiller, and it's coming out 58 degrees. Get a little bit of cool temperature. I want this to be nice and chilled wort. It is, after all, a lager. As soon as it's all collected, I'm going to pitch the yeast in this, give it some oxygen, and let those yeast do their job. And in about a week or 2, it should be done fermenting, and then it's ready for the lager. Except instead of lagering, this is going to go to a bourbon barrel. That's right, bourbon barrel. This is going to be a bourbon barrel double bock. I can't wait to taste that beer when it gets done. That's going to be another 6 months from now. So until then, on BeerTV, Brewing with Style, it's the Zymologist here signing off. Have a great day, and remember, drink a good brew. Cheers. Okay, I'm back. After seeing and that bock being brewed, I want to show you how to appreciate the appearance, the aroma, the flavor, the mouthfeel, and the character of bock beers. In another cutaway, you'll see me with my friend Dean Powell from Dean Scene tasting 12 different bocks, both foreign and domestic versions. Typical examples of the styles are Eyinger Maibock, Einbecker Urbock Dunkel, Paulaner Salvator, and Kulmbacher Rickelbrau Eisbock. Most beers that end in ATOR are double bocks, paying homage to the original Salvator. While most commercial versions rely primarily on dark Cara malts as the dark grain, others use the darker Munich malts, Carafa black malt, or combinations of these three. The level of bitterness is somewhat variable, as this is the roasted character and the dryness of the finish allows this for to be a lot of interpretation by the brewers. Coming up next on BeerTV, Brewing with Style, we're going to be tasting some beers. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, here we are at Dean Scene, and tonight we're going to have a beer tasting that you're not going to believe. We have 12 of the best beers in the world. We're talking about bocks. We've got Helles bocks, we got Maybocks, we got bocks, we got double bocks. We've got just about every kind of bock you could imagine. Bocks from the United States, bocks from Germany. Tell me, Dean, what do you know about bocks?
Well, I know they go way back. You're talking about the 1300s, you know, when Einbeck was the city that they came out of. Back in 1385, they had 600 working breweries in the city of Einbeck.
Wonder how that number looks today.
Well, I'm sure it's not the same. They've all been consolidated. But
Oh,
that's when
yeah.
beer was a team effort. I mean, the whole point is we need to taste this marvelous beer.
Exactly. Well, first up in our lineup of the wonderful beers we got tonight is from Peter Allen in Minville, Oregon. Peter Allen makes this, thank you, Mrs. Ham, makes this wonderful beer. It's only 7%, so it's kind of on the ragged edge of being a bock. Now, they're calling it a double bock, and double bocks, Dean, if I'm not mistaken, have to be at least a 1072 gravity.
Yeah, they're usually supposed to be over that.
Well, it definitely has the aroma. It has that nice dark malt aroma, kind of a sweet caramel aroma, but very, very aromatic.
Yeah, that.
You can smell those like toasted, kind of rainy, malty aromas.
Yeah, good color. That is typical color.
It does have that real full body, like I was thinking of. For a 7% beer to have that kind of gravity, to be a double bock, it does have the body and finish of a beer that's got a fairly high standard gravity. I'm thinking about around, between 4 and 5 degrees Plato, which would be like about 1018 to 1020 or something like that in that area. So Dean and I are going to finish our beers. We're going to take a quick break, get our glasses rinsed out, and bring you the next beer in the lineup.
Delicious Doppelbock.
Cheers.
Remember, it means double bock.
Okay, we're back, folks. We got our glasses rinsed and ready up for the next beer. That last beer was an awesome double bock from the good people at Heater Allen. This next beer is the original beer that started it all. Yes, we got Einbecker Urbock, which is German, which means it is the beer of Einbeck, which is in northern Germany, and it's the original bock beer. Oh, look at that color. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful color. I love that color.
Well, it's not as reddish as
Yeah,
the
it's
last one.
orange. It looks almost like it's orange
Yep,
amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell this has been lagered. I bet you they've lagered it for a good, 3 or 4 months easy.
Yeah. And we're talking about malt character.
Oh yeah, not
Yeah.
sweetness. A lot of people confuse the melanoidin character with sweetness, and it does have a kind of a sweet receptor.
I think it's way
kind of
drier.
reception.
I think it's drier.
But it is drier, yes.
You were talking about the
Absolutely.
Scotch style before, wheat heavies, which are way sweeter, much
Mm-hmm.
deeper, heavier malt. The bocks, believe me, are totally different.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a huge lager fan, but this beer is just awesome for ale. People who love ales.
Like this beer has its quality, and I embrace this quality. This is a quality I can enjoy a lot.
Well, made from one of the oldest brewers in Germany. So
Ein Prost to Einbeck.
Einbeck.
go.
Einbeck, the birthplace of box. So should we get on to our next beer?
I agree.
Let's do a crapshoot here.
We'll be right back on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. More double box. Okay, we're back, folks. And our next beer on the lineup is a beer I'm sure you'll all recognize. A lot of people know this beer because of its famous magazine named after it. Yes, Celebrator. Celebrator is awesome beer. But like I said on my show earlier that I was brewing up a double bock, anything that ends in ATOR is typically referred to as a double bock. And that because Salvatore was the first double bock. And so in honor of Salvatore, everything gets called something with ATOR. Alligator, elevator. I won't say the other one with the M.
Yeah, and, see, this is a color you do more associate with like a double bock.
Yeah.
Very deep and almost, what is it? Oh,
I would call it a reddish brown.
well, no, it's got
Mahogany. Ruby highlights.
garnet.
Garnet, there you go. Let's go with garnet.
Garnet thing. See a little bit of light in it. Yeah, the last one's a bit unusual, but Urbach was not the same as your typical doppel.
Now this has a little bit less of that lager sulfur aroma that I noticed in the Urbach, but it's got more of that sweet caramelic aroma that we found with the Heater Allen beer. So the Heater Allen beer is more in keeping with this beer. I think that last beer, the Urbach, was more of a Helles Bock or a Maybach, whereas this is more of mine with a double bock. Which is
But
the
no,
whole
it's
point
delightful
is
beer.
that you need to promote the flavors and the aromatics that come from the malts that give you the character that drives this beer. These are malt-driven beers, and you have to have the malts. And that means, I think, traditional German-style malts. I have tried to make beers like this with American-style malts, and while I can make very good beers, they just don't have that same character.
Okay, we shall return.
In a moment on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. Okay, folks, Dean and I are back, and we've got a different beer for you. A beer I'm sure you'll recognize when I show you the label. This is a rare beer. It's not a very common beer, but it's a very well-known beer. I'm talking about Sam Adams. No, not the mayor of Portland, who's probably going to be the ex-mayor of Portland. I'm talking about Sam Adams from Boston Brewing Company.
Highest alcohol beer.
So
on our
far,
list
yes,
so
so far. 9.5%.
I don't think anybody's going to beat it.
Very worthy beer. It pours up really nice. It has kind of the color of the Heater Allen beer.
Yeah, the original, the first one.
Yeah.
That's
It's a little
good.
bit lighter. It's
A little ruby.
Yeah, it's a little lighter. It definitely has those reddish, highlights that are indicative of Illinoisness. Oh, wow.
Just socks it to you, huh?
Oh, yeah. Boy, I'm picking up higher alcohols and esters, and, they probably do this as a lager, but I'm not picking up that lager aroma. I'm picking up more of the higher alcohols from all of them.
And you get alcohol in the taste.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and what's your famous saying? Extreme!
Yes, they are extreme brewers. They're making extreme beers.
So right now we're doing the extreme.
They didn't put the things in the beer that I would have put in this beer.
Well, to
I
make
would
it
have
more
put
extreme.
hickory chips, and I would have put chicory honey in.
Okay.
Then we'd have a hickory chicory double bock.
No, they're doing traditional style. No, this is amazing.
Yeah, this is very good. I like it. At 9.5%, I think it's going to be more in the afterglow than it's going to be in the actual flavor profile.
A great beer to put away. So it's safe to say that you'd feel the sulfur character would come more from a lager than it would come from an ale.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we ever get it in ales.
Well, you could if you had some DMS character from the grain, like Pilsner malt, for example.
Yeah, but not necessarily wanted in an ale.
No, that would be considered a defect in a lot of ales. Ales get most of their character from the yeast. Lagers get their character from the malts and the hops. In this case, it's more the malts. Beer. I think Sam Adams in this double bock is looking for that traditional old world quality, and I think they hit the nail on the head with this one. This is a very tasty beer. Our second American beer tonight, and a very worthy effort. All I can say, Jim, is cheers, brother. Keep up the good work.
And next we'll go back to Germany.
Ein Prost. We'll be back in a moment on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. More bock tasting. Prost. All right, now we've got back to Germany again. Yes, we've gone back to the Vaterland because we have ways of making you buck.
Can you pronounce
Now,
it?
yes, this is Allgauer Rauhaus Hambonator Dunkles Doppelbock. It means it's a dark double bock. Most double bocks are dark because they use a lot of dark grains, like
What
Cara
color
Munich
is that?
and dark Munich malt.
Not very dark. As compared to the last beer.
Well, it is dark for the Germans. The Germans like
I
their
know.
beers either Helles or Pilsner.
Right, very, very light in color.
Exactly. And so this is, for them, a dark beer. And there's nothing wrong with having a lower alcohol rating. It's just that you've got to have a corresponding increase in body to make up for it.
It's got it. It's got it hands down.
Now you can smell that DMS character that I alluded to earlier. And DMS has the S is for sulfide. It's dimethyl sulfide.
So already finding two things that are just apparent in lagers, which was the sulfur
And this has got that Cara Munich aroma.
DMS.
Wonderful Cara Munich aroma.
That's so German. Wow.
Oh, it definitely has that
Malt
German
is
malt
very,
character.
very tasty in the throat.
But it definitely has that drying effect that you get from the melanoidins that are in the malt. And I'm sure the melanoidins are coming from Munich malt. Most double bocks are very simple beers. They're mostly a lot of Munich malt with a little bit of Pilsner malt to kind of lighten up the body. Because if you get too many melanoidins in a beer, they can be annoying. And sometimes they can be harsh and hot. But that's what lagering is for, is to smooth out those green beer flavors. Really make those
Although
beers
I wouldn't
taste
call it
good.
a simple beer, because there's another beer that it probably double concocted.
That is very tasty beer, though. I like it. I'm gonna have to put that on the list.
I think you need to take it
Awesome.
I went.
Kempten, Germany.
Yes.
That's where it's from. Kempten, Germany.
Well, it makes sense. That's why it's called Cambonator. Cambonator from Camden, Germany.
And remember, it's an 8-or. All
And
box.
it's an ATOR.
Double box have to be ATORs.
If I had a brewery in Florida, I would call it Alligator.
Yeah, that would be fine. Okay, but the next brew
I was
up.
in Manhattan, I call it Elevator.
Okay, but we have next brew up, and it's an 8-er. And
Oh,
it's, and it's
absolutely.
American, and it's local.
There we go. Locally brewed beer. Next on Beer TV, Brewing with Style. We'll be right back after we've had a few interruptions. Cheers. Okay, folks, we're back. And we're back with an American beer. This is a real beer from Fishtail up in Olympia, Washington. 10% alcohol by volume. Good job, Fish. You guys did an awesome job with that. But let's see how it tastes. Oh, it pours up beautiful dark, almost like you said earlier, garnet brown.
Yeah, that's a darker style.
Yep, it's a little on the darker side of things.
And remember, it's a detonator.
Vans.
It's another 8-or.
Yes, detonator, which means it's gonna blow up in your mouth. An explosion of malt. Whoa, boy, you smell it. It smells like a chocolate malt. I mean, this is the first beer we've had tonight. It's had a chocolatey flavor. We've had one with caramel. We've had some with melanoidins, some with cracker-like characters, like graham crackers, some with all kinds of sweet aromas. But this is the first one we've had tonight with chocolate.
Okay, but let's discuss what this beer has. First, it has way more hops than a Doppelbock should ever have. I think that's
Well,
obvious.
it's
then.
oddly balanced. And I think that's because it's 10%. They hide the alcohol very well.
Oh,
I think they're hiding it-
as compared to last high alcohol
Exactly.
beer we did, Sam Adams.
I think they're hiding it with the hops. This is probably at best 30 to 35 IBUs. I mean, it's
I
not
think it'd be
that
a little.
hoppy of a beer.
I think it'd be a little hoppier. I can feel it on my throat.
Maybe, but it's a nicely balanced bitter. It's not like bitter like an IPA or a pale ale.
It's
This is
still
a
bitter.
very malty
It's
beer.
actually leaving a lot of bitterness on my palate.
Well, I'm picking up more malt than bitter, and I do drink a lot of bitter beers. In fact,
We are
Actually,
all
I'm
from
German
Germany.
Scottish, for those people who didn't know that, that means I'm a cheap drunk. And
What?
yes, as we progress into the beers, we find more and more truth coming out. I mean, this
yes.
is what, our 7th beer of the night?
Yeah, we'll be admitting all kinds of sins tonight.
Yeah, by the time we have
this
12
could be
beers
bad.
down, double box, 12 double box. And we're talking about everything from 12 ounces to 22-ounce bottles. I think one of these is also like yeah, we got a couple of 500 milliliter bottles.
Kind of nice.
You know, as this beer warms up, I'm starting to pick up some of the higher alcohols in it. And it's interesting how when you first taste it, it has this very chocolatey, almost candy bar flavor. But as it warms up, it starts getting more vinous.
Well, it leaves kind of hop thing in your throat too. it is hoppy.
It is a hoppy beer, but
Well,
it's a balanced hoppiness. About
We
light.
keep saying that. It's
Yeah,
still
it's very
way.
well balanced.
We're left with a lot of hops in our throat
But
as
it's
compared to
not
last
as
beer.
hoppy as like a pale ale or an IPA.
Well, I
That
hope
would be
so.
Hoppy. This is nicely balanced hoppy.
Well, even amber is more hoppy than this.
Well,
It's
so
supposed to be
far
more
for the
hoppy.
American beers, this is my beer of choice. All I can say, Dean, is thank you for bringing this bottle. Prost.
American Doppelbox. We go a little step further.
Well,
Let's
we're
go all
going back
German.
to Germany after this beer.
Okay.
We'll be right back at you at Beer TV, Brewing with Style, in just a moment. Cheers. Okay, folks, we're back, and we got Mount Vesuvius here. I opened this bottle of Double Hirsch from Germany.
You better
and-
pour it quick.
Yeah, and it's starting to foam up.
Like,
I don't think it's
trip it.
infected. I just think that the Germans have a different idea of carbonation than what we do.
That's good. Yep.
I mean, I love a beer that has a little bit of carbonation to it, but this is a little excessive.
So what is this beer? This
Well,
another German?
This is another German beer. It's like
Let's look at it for a
7.2%.
minute.
I love the drawing. It has these two elk.
Yeah, show that. Yeah.
These two elk. Look at that.
You
These
see
two
that?
elk fighting head to head. I mean,
I think it's got the qualities you said before.
yeah, it does. It has that nice caramel sweetness in the aroma. You can smell
Any
that.
sulfur?
and It comes a little bit, not so much. With this beer, it's more about the Munich malt and that melanoidin aroma, plus, there's a definite character coming in, I think, from the Cara Munich. Because I use a lot of Cara Munich, and I know what that smells like, and I recognize it. And I like Cara Munich. I think it's a good malt.
Yep. Probably
That's
could.
why we have these wonderful chocolates here, because these chocolates go really well with these beers. Look at that last beer. That last beer was very chocolatey. This one's more harkening back to traditional German beers, which have that melanoidin and maltiness to them, that kind of dryness.
But it is amazing because had we done all these German beers side by side, they all have their own characteristics. Okay, but we're speaking of lead, which is a very weird word, but that's the next beer we're doing. And
Yes.
it's another very unknown beer from
I selected this because the Sudetenland of Czechoslovakia is in the Black Forest near Germany, and this
Close.
is typically what you would call a Bohemian-style beer, but it's also in keeping with Southern Germany. And in Southern Germany, they like their beers rich. When you go to Southern Germany, you either ask for a Helles beer, or you ask for a Roten beer, or you ask for a Dunkels beer. But now we need to go to the Czech Republic, folks. That's right. We're leaving Germany and we're going to the Czech Republic because you know what we're going to be? We're going to be Bohemians. And the Bohemians enjoy good food and good beer and good time. And that's what we're going to do next on Beer TV, Brewing with Style. Rust.
those crazy Bohemians.
Alrighty, folks, we're back, and we got this interesting beer from the Czech Republic, like we said. This is called Lev. Doesn't say how much alcohol it is, but it does say it's a pale double bock. That's interesting. I like the idea of a pale double bock. We'll see how this beer tastes.
Well, the color is going to definitely be pale. God, that's pale.
Oh, that is pale.
Yeah.
That looks almost like a Pilsner Urquell.
All right, okay.
If I didn't know better, I'd say we're drinking Pilsner Urquell or maybe Budvar or Czech Bar.
Beautiful head, see? Gives
Oh,
you
yeah,
a little
nice
bit
head,
head in
definitely,
there.
definitely.
Look at how golden that is. I mean, look
It
at
is.
the variance in double box. It's an amazing thing. And
You don't
this,
smell the hops. You don't smell
No,
the
there's-
malt either. It's
no,
very,
no,
it's very
the
aroma.
hops are a bit bitter in.
But I am picking up a mineral smell, and that's unusual because the water of the Czech Republic is very soft. There's very little minerals. So I'm wondering if that mineral smell might not be the hops. Some hops do give off a kind of
Have you
mineral
tasted
aroma.
this yet? I
That
cannot believe
is
it.
very hoppy.
It
This
is
is the hoppiest beer we've had tonight.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. How odd. How
No,
odd.
well, it makes sense when you think about the beers most Czechs drink. Most Czechs drink Bohemian-style Pilsner beer.
And they're hoppy. Yeah,
And I
they're
think that
pretty
what
hoppy.
this is
A lot of-
Pilsner beer that they just added more malt to. They kept the pale ale characteristics.
So what we're saying is that this beer not being like a bock, it's not getting the, first we know the sulfur, the GMS. We're not getting the meloidins we were talking about, the wonderful, that malt character. And it's not, they called it a pale, and they are not kidding. This is pale.
The Czech Republic doesn't pay homage to the Bavarian Purity Act.
Exactly.
Because the Germans had the Reinheitsgebot.
The Reinheitsgebot. Ah, that's one of my favorite words. It took me years to say that.
And it says on it, a pale golden double bock. And so I think what Lev is trying to do is differentiate themselves in the marketplace. All I can say is they've done an admirable job of
The
differentiating.
Lev. Now you want a hoppy, good Czechoslovakian beer, this is it. But I would characterize of all the beers we got, this is the least doppel-like, least bock-like.
More of an imperial Bohemian Pilsner.
Because I say the doppelbock just doesn't kind of work. Because
Well, yeah, but look what it said. It says pale double.
you doubt it.
Yeah.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get on to our next beer, which is a very traditional
We're going
German
back
beer.
to Germany.
Yes.
Except this time we're going to be going a little religious on it. Yes, we're going to try those religious ordered beers. The monks of Germany are speaking to
Really?
us.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be drinking some monk beer. So hold on a second. We'll be right back with you on Beer TV Brewing with Style with more double box. Hey folks, we're back. And we're going back to Germany. This time we're going back to one of my favorite places, Schneider and Sons in Germany. Yes, these people make one of the best double box on earth. It's a wheat double box. Even the dogs like it. But you know what?
Dogs
This is
like
not
it.
for the dogs. This is for humans. This is an awesome freaking beer.
Have
This
some beer.
is
Have some beer, Doc.
Aventinus is one of the most widely sought after beers, the most widely copied beer. It's a wheat double bock. That's right. It's a wheat beer with a dark wheat beer, rich and it's malty, full of character. I've had this beer before. I love it. It's one of my favorite beers. And I'm glad you got it, Dean, because we got to make sure to cover all the bases.
No,
This is
actually,
definitely a worthy
one
beer.
base we didn't cover was the Eisbach.
Well, that's because Eisbachs are traditionally made once a year. We're going to be drinking that on
Yeah.
Beer TV, Brewing with Style.
Let's get
Well,
into
it's-
Doppelbox. Hey, you can play well.
Hey,
We're
we're back, and we're going back to Germany. We left the beautiful people of Schneider and Sons, and now we're going to be
Weird.
going to Weihenstephan University. We're going back to school.
Well, look how credible that fucking label is. You've got the gold, it's got the king there.
That's
and
not a
everything.
king. That's
Why
the
is
Pope.
stopper?
This
So-
is the Pope. The Pope himself has blessed this beer.
is on this beer. Now tell me about it. You said this was a university.
Corbinian, yeah. Weihenstephaner comes from the Weihenstephan University and is a very, very tasty beer. The Weihenstephan University has been around for 900 years.
So wouldn't this
And-
be the premier place in the world to learn about beer? Now show this label.
Absolutely.
And make sure everybody gets to see
Absolutely.
just how cool
This
that
is one of the coolest labels I've ever seen. I mean, we had several beers with really cool labels on. My favorite so far is the two elks butting heads. But let me put on my spectacles. And I'm looking at this beer, and it says 7.4% alcohol by volume, which doesn't surprise me.
7.4.
But it says store
Yeah.
dark and keep cool, 46 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit.
And
know their beer.
beautiful color. Beautiful, very
that says
garnet.
malt
I
liquor
like
and
garnet
Texas.
color in a beer.
But it comes from Freising, Germany.
Freising.
Yeah, it's just outside of Munich.
And got
Oh, lordy. What, the first thing that comes to mind when I smell this is I'm thinking of
the color.
I'm thinking like I'm in Bavaria and I'm in a confectioner's shop. I'm smelling candy. I'm smelling, sweet chocolate. I'm smelling like baked goods, things with raisins and figs and dates. And the same kind of flavor profile as that year-round beer.
I'm amazed because we just picked this from random. Believe me, we didn't do this because we really knew which beer goes in front of what. Doppelbox are, kind of.
I knew what I was doing, Dean. I was simply trying to get us a variety of beers.
I know,
And I think
but
that's
having
what
thrown
we're
that on, that kind of made a standard. And I say the German beers have more sophistication, right?
Well,
but
when you make something as long as the Germans have,
yeah, sure.
hundreds of years, pretty soon, sooner or later, you're going to realize that these are the benchmark beers. These are the beers that are the standard beers.
Well, we have more top-notch beers to come too. We have
Right.
we have
still
an ending
more
beer.
beers. That's right. More beer to come.
Okay. Unfortunately,
Box.
we do not have an American beer that can stand up to this. We've already done them, so we're going to go through a couple more until we get to our
I wish I
top-notch.
still had
beer.
my hickory chicory bock. You remember
Ah.
my hickory chicory
Yeah.
bock? What'd you think of that?
I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
Okay. I think we should get on to our next beer here.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thank you for staying tuned to the BeerTV Brewing with Style. We'll be right back at you in a minute.
That's a
Cheers.
real thing, dude. That's a real thing.
Alrighty, folks, we're going back to Germany, and this time we're going to go way back. We're talking 1330. That's right, folks. We're talking about Curator from the Ettaler Brewery. This brewery harkens back to the 1330s, and this beer is based on a recipe from 1609. It's referred to as a Dunkels Doppelbock, which means a very dark Doppelbock. This should be a very dark beer.
No, it's not very dark.
And it's not that dark.
Okay,
It
it's
looks
a
very much like the Doppelbocks we've had from Germany so far.
no. They consider this dark because they're probably making blondes.
Well, maybe.
But again,
you know,
one gorgeous color, garnet. That's what I was
that
saying.
is true. You know what's cool, Dean? This is the first German beer we've had that is 9% alcohol by volume. That's almost making it.
There's
into ice
7.2, 7.4
Yeah.
original. So smell this. You won't believe it. That's awesome.
Oh.
Awesome. I mean, we've had, this is the 11th beer tonight, and I can still detect this nose. No, because we had 2 or 3 beers tonight where it gave me a nose hardly at all. And this thing is just oozing character.
yeah, I
And
selected
it's just
this
amazing
beer.
because we're very intuitive about this sort of thing, right?
Yeah. But I selected this beer principally on the fact that it was a cluster beer, so I knew that it was made by the monks, and also I know that the monks also brewed Salvatore. And I felt that we should honor those early Christian monks because, hey, these guys made beer so they could support their abbey. And they made awesome beers. They made beers for the abbot, they made beers for the pope, they made beers for themselves, they made beers for the public. And this beer harkens back to those great, wonderful beers that were made hundreds of years ago. And all I can say is that if this is an echo of the past, I'm willing to listen.
I mean,
This
it-
is my favorite beer tonight, I'll have to admit. And I just looked at the label and the bottle, and it has this really beautiful picture that shows the Habsburg double eagle on the crest, and then in the background.
Very kind of castle
in the
thing
background,
going
well,
on
that's
there.
actually the monastery.
Yeah, right.
It has in the
It's
background
awesome.
The monastery, the Ettaler monastery. I've had Ettaler before, not the double bock. This is the first time for me having it. But I feel that if you're going to be making a beer of this kind of depth and complexity and character,
Yeah.
I can stand behind it. I can drink this beer.
This is a monster beer.
We need to pass this beer around and share it with our studio audience. The
Right.
studio audience needs to
I'd say
understand
it's
what
definitely
this beer
the
tastes
most
like,
awesome
what
beer.
this beer smells
We
like.
need to buy more of this beer.
Well, this was not an inexpensive beer, but it's not a terribly expensive beer. I think it was like $4.
Okay, let's get into the greatest beer of them all, the most famous Doppelbock in the world.
Our final beer of the night
Arr.
is called Salvatore. And it's called that because Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior,
God
had a beer
forbid.
named for him, and it's called Salvatore because it gives us salvation. I say, drink this beer with good cheer, and remember, you have been saved by Salvatore. Amen, brother. Cheers. All right, our last beer of the night, and we've been going through some extreme beers. And tonight we're paying homage to our Savior and Lord, Jesus Christ. Yes, the Paulaner monks have Salvatore. Since 1634, 375 years. Awesome frickin' beer. And here it is coming at you. 8.5% ABV.
So are they a monk brewery too?
Yes,
Because
they
the
are.
last one was a monk brewery. So the last 2 beers are monk brewery. which means these guys, they have nothing better to do than, do religious stuff and make beer. How awesome, what a life.
It's all about praising God, drinking beer.
The real true German beer.
It's still balanced. I can still taste both malt and hops. That's what's crazy. Malt and hops at the same time.
But we're really happy about this because we're Northwesterners and it's got hops in it and it's not strictly malt. We passed the malt barrier way long ago.
We live in a hop growing area. We breathe hops. We live hops. Hops are in our blood. If you draw my blood, it's going to have lupulin in it.
What is it about human beings that really love bitterness? We really like a bitterness. And I say normally, 98% of your beer drinkers out there don't like bitterness. Because that really hop thing.
This is the lightest double bock I think we have tonight. I mean, you look at it, and it's actually kind of a medium amber color.
No, but we had goldens too.
Yeah,
gold.
the lead was definitely very pale.
Right, and actually, this is the first time we've had a totally amber color. That is a very, very light color. But let's end the show. We've done a dozen Doppelbocks tonight.
Exactly.
A dozen Doppelbocks. I was making fun of him the other day, suggested this tasting, and I said, you can't get more than 3 Doppelbocks out there.
And I said, I said,
unfuckable.
I will bring you at least 6. And no, I didn't bring him 6. I brought 8, and he had 4. So 8 and 4 makes 12. Wow. That's how we brought you tonight. We brought you 12 beers. Until next time on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. Cheers and
Wow, that was simply amazing. 12 different beers with completely different character, all considered Bocks by their respective breweries. All you can say about Bock beer is that it's a very malty, bready, Swedish, creamy lager called a Bock by its brewery. What really is good about Bocks is all the different foods that go well with them. Dark chocolate is a personal favorite of mine, and is a nice slice of cheese, like a Limburger or a Swiss, or even a creamy French camembert. The bittersweet character of the chocolate and the nice creamy flavors of the cheese go well with the toffee and malty flavors of Bock, along with that nice creamy mouthfeel. Coming up for the next segment, I'm going to be pairing up food with Bocks. The Bocks will cut some of the heaviness in sauce-based meat dishes, chicken paprikash, goulash, or pork rouladen, for example. And those will stand up to those strong flavors. The perfect beers to serve with pretzels and mustard or cheese. Sweeter Bocks such as double Bocks could complement heartier, spicier desserts such as pumpkin pie or spice cake. Talking about hearty foods, I like a hearty meat meal with gravy, such as peppered chicken or rabbit. That goes mighty fine with a nice double bock. The main thing to remember is that you can either complement the beer with the food or you can contrast the beer with the food. Pairing unlikely matches such as pale ale with smoked fish or a stout with fruit desserts. Select foods from the same region where the beer is brewed. Most often than not, they will complement each other very well, like peppered chicken and Oktoberfest lager. Next, we're off to pair up some awesome food with Bock beer and show you how and where you can spend your spring days this season. Coming up next on BeerTV Brewing with Style, we're gonna do some food pairings with Bocks. Michael Brown here. I'm at 4th Street Brewing with Adam Roberts, the brewer at 4th Street Brewing, and what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about this lovely beer that he brewed, Double Bock. Tell me, Adam, what inspired you to brew this Double Bock?
I've always been a fan of the style of beer since the first time I had probably a Celebrator back 15, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
And I've just been a fan of the style of beer and try to recreate it as traditionally as I possibly can.
Well, it's definitely very tasty. I mean, I've had this beer before, and we're going to have it again today. Prost. That is very tasty. You definitely hit the mark on that one for sure. Thank you. What kind of food do you think would go really well with this beer? I'm thinking like really rich fruit and maybe even spicy food.
Spicy foods it goes well with, steaks, anything like that.
That's what I was thinking. And you have 2 foods here at 4th Street Brewing I think would go awesome with it. I think those hot wings that you make would go really well with it, and I also think that Duke of New York would go awesome.
Of course, it goes well with anything like that, really.
Oh yeah. And what I like is it's still light on the palate. So how much of this beer did you brew when you brewed it up?
I only brewed six barrels of it.
Okay. Is that because of the strength of the beer?
Because of the strength of the beer, and to get it up to the, to get the sugars I want on a 10-barrel system, you really have to stick with about 6 barrels unless you want to do double mashing and that type thing.
All right. Well, thank you, William and Adam. We appreciate your help out your time. Thanks for being on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. We'll be right back with a tour of the brewery. Michael Brown here, BeerTV, Brewing with Style. And I have with me from 4th Street Brewing, Abe Bunn. Abe is the chef at 4th Street Brewing, and today in the restaurant, he's going to be serving me up some wonderful food to pair with this double bock. So tell me, Abe, what kind of food do we have here today?
Well, first of all, we have a big easy favorite, the jambalaya. A little spicy, hearty, goes nice with the double box.
Okay.
We also have our brewer's shrimp plate, which is 5 fried shrimp and a amber ale beer batter.
Nice.
So we also have some a little lighter, and then another spicy item also our hot wings.
Excellent. And I'm glad to see that you've got some crisp veggies to go with that. That helps to clean the palate, and then the bubbles from the beer will help scrub off all the remaining film and texture coming up from that ranch sauce. I love ranch sauce, but sometimes it gets so rich and coating on your tongue, you got to have something to scrub it off with.
Right.
I'm
Cleanse the palate, so to speak.
There you go. I'm going to start off with a little bit of this jambalaya. This looks really good.
We use only andouille sausage, just like they would in New Orleans.
Yeah, I tasted that andouille. That's awesome.
Good little spice, goes nice. Good sip of beer.
That andouille was awesome. I really like that in the jambalaya. Is the green, is that cilantro or is that?
Just fresh parsley.
Fresh parsley, Yeah, I find that parsley helps to clean the palate too as well. So don't leave that parsley laying on your plate. It's a great aperitif. It helps clean the palate. Okay, so what should we go through next? The shrimp?
Yeah, we have the brewer's shrimp, and they are, like I said, are hand dipped in amber ale beer batter, and then a little panko to give it a crisp finish, and a sweet and tangy chili sauce to go with it.
And that sweet and tangy goes very well with this nice beer because being a less hopped beer, the maltier beers tend to go really well with that kind of sauce. Oh, that's truly marvelous. I really enjoy that.
And then last, we have the hot wings with our buffalo hot sauce and crispy carrot and celery. A little bit of ranch to dip in that we make ourselves.
Oh, you make it yourself? Awesome. I like to hear about things like that. Is there anything that differentiates your hot wings from other people's hot wings? Because they look a little different to me, like they're a little bit richer, a little bit more colored and flavored.
Right, they're actually oven roasted and then fried. So
oven roasted.
yeah,
now
they take on twice the texture outside. So
awesome. I'm up for that.
Normally pretty crispy. And we just use a Frank's Red Hot sauce. It's most everybody's favorite wing sauce.
It's not really all that hot in the sense of like burning hot, but boy, it's nice and zesty. It has a nice spicy zest to it. I like that.
Finishes good with a drink of beer.
Absolutely.
Messy though.
If wings aren't messy, they're not good. I don't care what anybody says. When I see wings that aren't messy, I think that those wings aren't any good. They're too dry.
Yep.
Cheers. Well, Abe, all I can say is you set a fabulous plate. You have a great table here. You got a great restaurant here. You guys do a wonderful job. The food is awesome. The beer is incredible. They go so well together. I mean, I got the aftertaste of the malt and the aftertaste of those wings, and they're just kind of chasing each other around, and it just makes me want to drink another beer.
Indeed.
Have
Thanks for having us.
Well, hey, thanks for having me over here. I appreciate it, Abe. Cheers.
And glad you enjoyed.
This finishes another food segment. We'll be back in the studio on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. Thanks for watching. Man, that was most awesome. Pairing food with beer is just as much fun as cooking with beer. The flavor profile of the beer boils down to a balance of sweetness and dryness, a factor of malt character and any residual sugars. balanced by the bitterness of the hops, or in this case, the malty sweet flavors of the grains as well. Beer can contribute richness, even sweetness and body to sauces, but you gotta watch out for those hops as they will change in nature in the cooking process, particularly with reducing sauces. They can take on an astringently bitter character that begins dominating the flavor profile and may become too cloying. You have to be sparing when cooking with beer. When malty beers like Bock are reduced, they become much more bitter and can ruin the finish. That's why I like to use Bocks as a marinade or a glaze when I cook with Bocks. Bocks are also excellent with any good hearty soup or stew or a meat dish with brown gravy. I make a pretty tasty beer and cheese soup that uses either Bock beer or Oktoberfest style lager with sharp cheddar cheese in either a potato or celery base. Try making Belgian waffles sometime with a Bock. Just replace some or all of the water with the beer. Well, I hope you found this show a useful medium for your brewing, tasting, and food-related needs. On the next show, I'm going to showcase the beers of the warmer days of late spring when your mind turns towards the lighter, more refreshing side of things. That's right, I'll be brewing up a wheat-style beer for the warm spring days ahead, and we'll show you how it's brewed, what it tastes like, how you can enjoy it with your favorite foods next time on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. So tune in next time to BeerTV, Brewing with Style, when we'll be brewing up wheat beers for your pleasure. Thanks for turning on BeerTV, Brewing with Style. See you then.
Dude.